Hi, I'm Drew, and I'm an amateur model builder. I'm building a layout in my basement called the White River Line, inspired by the Frisco Railroad in the Ozarks. At the end of my last episode, if you remember, I said I wasn't really quite sure what I was going to do next, and I was going to head to the Rocky Mountain Train Show for a little bit of inspiration. While I was there, I dropped by the Soundtraxx booth, and they were offering a little bit of a rebate on their decoders. So I went ahead and picked one up. And now, I need to get it installed in my locomotive. This is really going to be just the first step in me getting my layout converted over to DCC, so I have a bit of work to do. So, let's jump on into it. The first thing I need to do is a little disassembly. All the parts I need to access are in the tinder, so I can detach that and open it up. This is a DCC ready locomotive, and you can see the 8-pin connector on top of the circuit board. My plan is to place the speaker in the coal load section, so I need to pop that out of the tinder. Next, I need to drill a few holes through the coal load, otherwise the sound will be a bit muffled. I don't really like the look of these holes in the top of the coal, so I'll disguise them with a little more coal. I need to create a baffle to help improve the sound of the speaker. I could build something with styrene, but I think I'll utilize my 3D printer. I'll need to take a few measurements to design the baffle. Never mind that sore on my thumb. I got into a bit of a disagreement with a belt sander, and the belt sander won. A little bit of filing will be needed to fine-tune the fit. Well, this isn't going to work. The magnet from the speaker peeks out from the bottom of the coal load. After messing around a bit, I'm beginning to realize that the speaker isn't going to fit in a way that will create the best quality sound. So I'm back to the drawing board for a new plan. What I can do here is remove the factory installed circuit board and directly wire up the DCC decoder. This will free up some space to install 2 mini-cube speakers here. I'm using the Soundtraxx TSU 2200 decoder. This was recommended to me by Jason, the train freak. He's a factory-trained Soundtraxx installer, and I figured it wouldn't hurt to have an expert in my corner for my first DCC install. You can find a link to Jason's YouTube channel up in the upper right-hand corner. I put a couple of mini-cube speakers on order, and while I waited for those to arrive, I got started on soldering up the decoder. To get started, I'm going to clip the wires off the factory board. As I do so, I need to keep track of the wires. These two red and black wires go to the motor. I'm going to tape them together so I don't get them confused with all the other black and red wires in here. This black wire and this red wire connect to the left side pickups. This red wire probably should have been black. I'll mark it with a black Sharpie. There are pickups on both the engine and the tender. These two red wires connect to the right-hand rail pickups. Finally, the two yellow wires are for the headlights. The common wire probably should have been blue, and I'll mark it with a black Sharpie as well to keep track of the polarity. Next, I'm going to remove the wiring harness from the decoder, which requires me to cut back the heat shrink a little bit. My thought is that removing the harness will make the soldering process a little easier. One more thing before I get to soldering, I'm going to remove these posts. This will gain me a little bit more space, and they aren't needed because these were used to mount the factory installed board. I'll start by soldering the wires for the track pickups. These will probably be the most difficult ones to do since I have to manage 3 wires for them. I hope I get better at this because that was painful. Although the result doesn't look too bad. Next, the left side pickups. Again, there are 2 leads, one for the engine and one for the tender. Then I soldered the leads for the motor. First I did the positive, which is the orange wire on the harness. Then I did the negative, the gray wire on the harness. Now for the headlight. The positive lead goes to the white wire on the harness. The common side goes to the blue wire on the harness, but I'll need to add a 1K ohm resistor. Alright, now I'm ready to plug the wiring harness back in. Once my Minicube speakers arrived, I got started installing them. They're going to fit perfectly here at the back of the tender. Although it seems the magnets in these speakers are exerting some force on each other. A little double-sided tape is all that is needed to mount these. The polarity for the speakers for this decoder is not important, although when installing two mini cubes like these, they do need to be wired in series. I added a jumper between the speakers first. This wire is tiny, and I'm thinking it'll be more difficult to add it after soldering the leads. With the speakers installed, I just need to tidy up and tape down the decoder and wires, and I'll be ready to put this locomotive back together. With the decoder installed, I'm halfway to getting my layout converted to DCC, although this might have been the easy part. I've got a little bit of track work to do here on the layout. I want to add the yard lead so I actually can get trains in and out of the yard. I also need to add a programming track, and I'll be utilizing this section in the engine service area for that. However, the big project will be building my DCC++ command station, which I'll be doing next. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Those links are in the description below, along with a list of tools, supplies, and resources I use. If you've enjoyed this video or found it helpful, you can show your appreciation by clicking on the like button, or even better, subscribing. Those are the easiest ways to support me. If you'd like to support me further, you can find links to my merch shop and my Amazon wish list below too. Like I said, I'll be working on my DCC command station next, so please join me again next time as I continue modeling the White River Line.